Okay, so up next we have Chelsea Oulette. She's a first year in the honors specialization undergraduate degree in medieval history. She has been published in Creative Communications numerous times for her poetry and for a short story. She enjoys writing, excuse me, and when she is not writing, she enjoys singing, dancing, and acting. She is going to talk to us about poetry and stress and how she characterizes them as a perfect friendship. Here's Chelsea.
Before I start, I would like, if I may, to begin with a quote. The greatest weapon you can use against stress is choosing one thought over another. In 2012, a statistic showed for Canadians, 23% of Canadians aged 15 and older said that their lives were either very or extremely stressful. This has still remained. Stress is something we can't hide from. And with that, poetry is connected into it. When we're younger, we learn how poetry is connected in with the nursery rhymes we hear and listen to, how every word is connected without knowing. As we grow, we take what we learned from the nursery rhymes and we put them into our own poetry, which we give to our mothers, to our Valentines. We give them to everyone and anyone we could for any occasion. Those, I find, are the best moments in our childhoods. But as we grow, we learn new things, both good and bad. And with that, we start to lose the art that we learned when we were children for poems. That's where I come in. I, too, followed my classmates through preschool, elementary school, not knowing what poetry really had an effect on me. I was happy, my grades were great, I had the best of friends, and I was being told that we were learning the right way to get into the future. But I found out once I got to high school that wasn't the case, and how much I needed poetry and it needed me. When we get to high school, we're told that it's supposed to transform us into the people we are today. When I first got there, though, I went down a dark path. I was crying, I was anxious, my grades started going down. I started losing one by one all my friends. Stress was controlling my life, and I let it. I didn't know how to stop it, and at times I didn't think I could. It took a few years before I realized that there is a silver lining, poetry. And I have my English teacher to thank for that. One day she came to the front of the classroom just like how I'm standing here today. She told us to get a piece of paper out and for 10 minutes, write. That's the only rule we had. We had to write about something, anything. Now, I was skeptical at first, but as I continued writing, and I just let the pen go, I started to feel a weight being lifted off my shoulder, something that I haven't felt in years. And I liked the feeling of that. After that, I continued writing, which turned into me writing a writing log, which turned into me writing poetry again. And I found with every entry I wrote in, the more and more I wrote, the more thoughts and emotions came out into every single word. And the more and more I felt happy again. I started to gain my grades up. I started smiling. Poetry was there for me to understand that I need to open up. I need to communicate. Writing poetry involves more than just the pen, I found. It was just the stepping stone for me in order to understand that I need to open up. I understood that now that I had my poetry, it was for me to have the confidence to show the world what I was feeling and what I needed help in. When I wrote my first poem, I wasn't really sure to show it to anyone. I was unsure of how my friends and family would think of me after they read it. I found, though, that poetry is a way to speak when we have a stress and we're unable to mention it when it's troubling us. In short, poetry brings out stress into the light. This is not the best, and it's not always the right thing to do, but in life, there's never one thing that can truly help stress. What I do may not help someone else. I mean, some people can do yoga to calm themselves down. That's not me. I find that the movement of the pen and the way it sounds against the paper to be almost like a lullaby. I use myself as an evidence of what poetry can do because of what I was taught. Because I was taught to start writing again, and because I was taught to open up, I was able to communicate more with my friends and family about what was happening in my life, what was making me upset. My marks then started to go up, and I turned into the person I am now standing here today. That is what I hope for others to learn when they try this. I know it's going to take more than a night. It could take weeks, months. But I can promise you that when you do try this, even just once, you'll see that there's more to stress than meets the eye or thoughts. Sometimes you may not understand how much stress you really do hold until you write it into words on paper. And then you take those words and put them into poetry. It's like holding on to lessons you learned from those mistakes that add to the stress or events that happened in the stress. You're able to see that poetry is just a way to speak about what's making you not you. Thank you.